Hello. This is episode 8 of the Sunflounder Chronicles. I am your host, Brohammington, also known as Ken if you want to be lame and use real names.
And I'm Jesse or Jester Dujour.
Right on. And today is awesome because we are joined with two of my favorite human beings in this TCG, Humble and Xenulous. What's up, guys?
Hello, how are you? Doing great.
I'm good,
Man,
man.
I'm after my event this weekend, I'm in shambles. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Yeah, you had a rough event.
It was it's probably the worst I've performed in an event since oh oh man, since like Atlanta.
Yeah, that's Atlanta's been some time ago too.
Yeah, dude,
Oh,
it
remember
was a
you?
rough day.
Yeah. So let's start with what event was this?
So I went to the Inc. Incorporated Invitational in Baltimore. A shout out to that team. Shout out to Garrick, who has been editing Maelstrom's videos for a while now. He did all the production. You can find all the matches on his YouTube channel, Garrick's Lorcana Lair. He's going to be editing the individual stream matches and all top eight and everything. Like, just production was fantastic. The team was fantastic. They had the judging crew was fantastic. They had Ben, who was the only one I had really conversed with, but he's been to a few DLCs and has judged CCS. Um, but yeah, so I brought Amethyst Steel after the week and a half leading up to the event. That's like what I practiced the most, being honest. I felt really good going into Sapphire Steel and Ruby Sapphire with the list. My first two rounds were against Sapphire Amethyst. I 2-0'd my first round and then got savagely 2-0'd in my second round. That man, Larry, ended up going on to the finals with his Sapphire Amethyst list, just wading through the field of Sapphire. But
Sapphire Amethyst. So Blurple.
yeah,
Blurple in the finals.
finals was Sapphire Amethyst and Amber Steel Song.
Cool. I didn't
Oh,
expect those two decks.
yeah, no kidding. Take me back to set 5, would you?
Dude, for real. But and they got there fighting through. I believe it was three Sapphire Steelists. So I mean, like they definitely earned the right to be in grand finals. But
That's
it was for
abs-
sure not a room that was kind to Amethyst Steel. Let me tell you, brother.
so just like everything Sapphire was there.
Yeah. There
Wow,
was one. There
it's
was one
almost
Amethyst Steel in top eight. And there was one Emerald Amber in top eight. I believe it was a tramp deck.
Okay. So that's like the Turbo Chernobog list, right?
I don't know that he was playing Chernobog. I'd have to go. I think they're publishing the deck lists on Ink Decks pretty soon.
Okay.
But the Emerald Amber list did make top four. So
I mean,
so what you're saying is the most powerful thing you could be doing in Lorcana right now is Sapphire.
I will, in fact, no
Sapphire
longer not be playing Sapphire. I can tell you that much.
Sapphire X, but as long as it's Sapphire,
as long
it's
as it's Sapphire, you have a chance.
Yeah.
essentially
Or Amber Steel songs, apparently.
maybe Amber Sapphire is probably the outlier there where it's not as great, but like I think every other Sapphire deck is probably like in a good position.
Who knew that this is something that I genuinely not thought of until I saw it this weekend? Who knew turn one Bell singing Friends on the Other Side is actually a good line of play?
that I do like to draw 2 cards for free. That's actually quite nice.
Yeah, just casually by, turn two, you're just up 4 cards in your hand from your opponent.
Yeah,
Right.
who doesn't love a good old pot of greed?
Dude. Yeah,
Free Pot of Greed, even more.
Well, pot of greed was free before, but you're right. Inherent plus
Free.
one off a 3/3 body is on turn two is pretty good.
Yeah.
I hear it's nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, it is a line. I almost built it. I for sure almost built it because I had some extra sleeves, and I was like, no, just focus to the decks that like I'm going to be participating and playing. Like I, these events coming up, I need to like just not dilute my focus because I was ready. I was ready to brew some blue green songs nonsense, and it was like no. I gotta figure out a deck I'm playing for CCS.
So now that you mentioned blue-green song nonsense, I did DM you a deck list that I played yesterday in a tournament. And speaking of blue-green song nonsense, I hope it pleases you, Humble.
It does. I do like it. The song. So the deck I was talking about was playing Ursula Deceiver
Oh, sure.
to copy songs to
Yeah.
use with muses.
Yeah.
So there's there is a song that kind of caught my eye from set 4, I believe, set 3 or 4. It's a Seldom All They Seem, and it's target character gets -3. So Ursula double sings it. You -3 something. Muse's trigger bounces it. You -3 something because you -3 again. Muse's triggers again to bounce. So you have these weird lines where you can just like play Mother Knows Best, bounce 2 things. Seldom All They Seem, bounce 2 more bigger things, and kind of just continue to do that over and over again. But also, in order to do that, you have to sleeve the card Seldom All They Seem, which isn't great. And like I was like fleshing the deck out on my desk, and I was like, damn, all these green cards should probably just be red.
This one seems like inherent. Like that's like one of the things that like people were talking about with like the vanished characters, right? They're like, man, we have to play bad actions now. You know, it's like,
well, not even bad actions. Like so, like there are some decks. For example, the Sapphire Emerald deck that you sent me, right? Heffalumps and Woozles just banishes Cobra.
Oh yeah, I love that card.
Yeah. I was playing Amber Emerald discard for a hot minute, and the list feels really good when it doesn't lose to itself.
Sure.
The problem is 50% of the time you're going to be losing to yourself.
Yeah, I was test played with you the other day. We got a couple games in, and you were playing that Amber Emerald discard nonsense. I kind of hated my life for about 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, like when it works, it is extremely powerful and dare I say, very toxic.
Right.
So people do forget that it is the deck that won Toronto convincingly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And look, it's a set 1 card, and people still get got by You Have Forgotten Me, right? Like they'll go down to 2 cards and just like go ahead, and they're like, that's crazy. Discard your hand.
Yeah, I mean, especially with a lot of like the Sapphire variants right now, because it seems like they get like, by like turn 3 they have two to 3 cards in hand. You know, just hoping to land the Flavor Shim early or whatever to refuel. But if like they just ink down to 2, they have the Flavor Sham, and then you're just like, hey, why don't you go ahead and discard those last 2, bud?
Well, so like the normal discard deck, so the Steel Emerald discard deck has this propensity of having a bunch of cards in their hand, but they don't have the ability to draw cards because you've already discarded your opponent's hand. Right? You just like are not able to continue that cycle of card draw. With this list, I've added the Mother Knows Best with a turn 1 Singer Cinderella as just like another nod to like if I can go first, play my Cinderella, you go Popsicle, sacrifice it for the bell, and I just go, okay, I'm gonna put it back in your hand, like, and just kind of like offset that tempo. It's proven to be pretty powerful. But also Mother Knows Best, just being able to, like, there was a line where my opponent like went to no cards, has a Hiram and a Bell in play, and I said, okay, this Prince John will sing Mother Knows Best. This Prince John will sing Mother Knows Best. I'll play You Have Forgotten Me. Discard your 2 cards. I'll draw 4.
Right. I mean, that's definitely
yeah. So it's been helpful. Again, it's still a deck that just like sometimes you draw 7 Inkables and you're like, cool, this is wonderful. I love it here. Sometimes you just don't open the Diablo Shift line. You're like, I'm not drawing cards until turn 7. And then there are sometimes you just open and you're like, my opponent is a corpse. Like, I am not losing this game. There is no shot. And then like it just works out that way. The addition of Tramp as well. I've been testing out 2 Tramps, and it kind of gets you there. It allows you to like, excuse me, in these like mid game scenarios, just draw to the combo pieces you need, which is one of the weaknesses of that deck. Is you need so many moving pieces. Like you need 8 cost worth of Singers plus Akita plus the Under the Sea. So like there's a lot of moving parts that you need to kind of like make sure happens. Right. So making those game states occur can be difficult, especially if your opponent knows what they're doing and like they have the necessary removal tools to get rid of like your pivotal pieces. But if not, and like you're able to just kind of do whatever you want, it's money. I love that deck.
Yeah, for sure. The so yesterday you guys Xenulous, you played the Amethyst Steel, and you don't think that you want to be playing that anymore?
Well, no, I will never be sleeving that deck up for another event. I can promise you that.
So what seemed to be the issue when you were running this deck? So we had somebody that actually won our tournament here yesterday with Amethyst Steel, but I mean, I think there was a count. I think there was a count of like only 2 Sapphire players in the room too.
Well, like, so it wasn't even. Well, admittedly, of the 5 rounds I played in tournament, 4 of them were against Sapphire decks, so I can't even really say that. I was going to say it's not even Sapphire, but man, looking back, it was. Dude, even my God hands were just getting run over. My one opponent that was on Sapphire Steel, he opened, like, I was on the play, which, you know, was making me feel good. I had really, really good results into Sapphire Steel, and I'm generally just able to outrace them and just get to where I want to go before they can stop me. And he opens turn 1, Popsicle Bell. Turn 2, Sing Storm, fire the cannons, your other guy. Turn 3, Sing Storm again, play Scrooge. And then, like, at that point, he's just stopped all of my early lore gain, and I've just had to ink away. Like, because they were my card draw engines, they were just my one-drop cantrips, he stopped me from drawing cards, and I never found a dock that game, so I just gassed out. And then again against Ruby Sapphire, kind of the same thing happened. She got me to a point where she was just able to Sapphire coil everything I had down, and I couldn't do anything. And then the set after that was just back to Emerald Steel, which I know was already a bad matchup. Like, that was not something I was surprised at. But I was like, you know, it might be okay. And he just opened the God hand 2 times in a row, and I just had no agency. I couldn't fight back or do much. I was on Fire the Cannons myself, so I had something to go against Diablo. Of course, I'm on Pete's, so like if I had a properly timed Pete, I probably could have stopped his momentum a little bit. But I don't know. There were so many moments where I felt like agency was completely taken away from me, and it was 100% the variant of Amethyst Steel I was playing. But again, I don't think that you can play a mid-range version of Amethyst Steel into a Sapphire Steel or Ruby Sapphire field, because they're going to do things more powerful than you are, because playing Genie or Rabbit and trying to establish a board presence like that is just not the same as them playing a Scrooge for free and then popping an Odd and playing a Bell for free the next turn, playing Tamatoa, getting back the items. So yeah, all that being said, I'm now an Amethyst gamer, and that's where my heart's going to be for the rest of the set.
You mean Sapphire? You are no longer an Amethyst gamer.
Yes.
Unless you're playing Sapphire and Amethyst, and then
unless I'm playing Sapphire and Amethyst, which was proven, which was shown to me can happen, but
yeah, which is you know, not a bad gig. Humble, I noticed that, or not myself, but Jester Dujour here is he has recently turned to becoming a Mufasa player, so he's been watching what you're doing a little bit and noticed that you have an Amber Emerald Mufasa list.
Amber Emerald, yeah. So I do. I've been kind of toying around with a bunch of different ways to make the king just well positioned. So the problem with the Ruby variant is, while we have these removal tools, that deck is very slanted towards the more character-based, mid-rangey metagame. So, like, if you take set 6, for example, where Amethyst was just the strongest thing you could do during that set, or one of the strongest things you could do. I think Logan and I were having the conversation that never before, and I don't think since, has there been a metagame where every variant of Amethyst decks were viable.
Yeah,
like it didn't matter what color you paired it with. If it had Amethyst in it, it was likely good enough to win. And like we're slowly getting to that point with Sapphire right now. I still argue like there are some Sapphire decks that just aren't there. But again, when Genie was released, Blurple took 2 slots in the North American Continental Championship. So like that
Right.
should tell you everything you need to know. But moving forward, like when we kind of went away from that, right? When it was Amethyst decks were just like these character mid range decks were all the rage. Mufasa could feast because that's our bread and butter. That's how we win.
Mhm.
Like you are never gonna win the board over me because I'm just 60 characters and I'm continually trading up, and I'm allowed to have these completely disgusting Raya Gaston combos to just power out very powerful turns, right? Like I should not be able to cast Maleficent Dragon on turn 5, but I can.
I mean, it happens.
Exactly. So, but moving forward with how powerful the Sapphire decks are and like their propensity to ramp and like they don't really care about having characters on board,
Right.
and like the characters they do have on board are singing the songs on turn 2 to just like get rid of your early curve, which is like kind of how you need to set up. We can't really rely on that any longer. So we have to go bigger. And what I mean by go bigger is we have to do one of 2 things. And I actually have 2 lists right now that I'm kind of testing into the field of Sapphire Steel and Sapphire Ruby, where like the Emerald version, for example, is Turbo Chernobog.
Okay.
I'm utilizing all these tools to just get into like a very early 9/9 that quests for 3, and hopefully that's just enough to get to the point where like you can't win. Right? Sapphire isn't really dealing with that with their damage-based removal spells in any amount of time. The Ruby Sapphire decks, they do have the ability to deal with it, but it requires a very specific sequence of cards for them to deal with like a turn 5 Chernobog. So I have something like that kind of there. It's in testing okay. It's not blowing me away, but it's also like
Mhm.
I've had some pretty successful results that makes me say, oh, okay, maybe there's something here, and I can circle back around to this variant after CCS. I've prepared for all these tournaments. The variant that has surprised me quite a bit, and mind you, this is a disclaimer for anyone who hears this and gets excited. Uh, this deck is likely just hard losing to a big Sisu. But it is Amber Sapphire Mufasa, and
Okay.
Okay.
I've dubbed it Hero Fasa because there's just a bunch of hero synergies.
Right.
Mhm.
So the crazy part is, so that I found out, is obviously like turn 1 Daisy or Nala is like just a bunch of things that have 4 willpower. Um, so you're just like not really in a position to lose your tempo against the blue steel decks, because everything is 4 willpower, right? You have Daisy, you have Nala, you have Anna on turn 2, um, and then so on and so forth, right? But then you have the Alice on 3, which not only like having ward is huge, but also giving something ward and +1 is also massive. But then we're also playing 2 copies of the set 2 or 3, I don't remember, legendary Sapphire Sisu as the additional card draw, since we did lose the ability to just like Gotham to Rapunzel and have that more consistent card draw option.
Is that
Is she a 4-drop?
It is.
that's the blue
Oh
one,
yeah,
right?
the uninkable one.
Uninkable 2/4, the quest for 2. And when you quest, you look at the top 2, put one, and like it's essentially Grammatala. You look at put one in your hand and one on the bottom.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
But it's on quest instead of on play.
Yeah, but it's on quest. So what you do is you like can ramp into turns where you go, well not ramp, but you sequence your turns into going 1-drop, 2-drop, Alice on 3, Sisu on 4. Alice quests gives your Sisu ward, so they can't deal with it, and then you get that guaranteed card draw option. The cool thing about Sisu, and that's something that like I considered building the deck, is it's a hero. So
Right.
it turns on all your hero synergies. We are playing the 2-drop Anna that quests for 1 additional for every for if you have a hero. We have the 4-drop Anna that when she quests, all your other heroes get +1. We have a bunch of like we're just essentially an aggro deck that just has these really cool hero synergies. And on your top end, Mufasa can spin into like Surfer Stitch, who's also a hero, and like just kind of so on and so forth from there. It's it's got a rough time into the Ruby decks, but if you are kind of like me and have said The deck I do not want to lose to this format is Sapphire Steel. This deck just doesn't lose to that. Yeah, I'll actually send it. I'll actually send it to you. I think I have it. Is this it? Nope, that ain't it. Sorry, I don't have anything named. Here we go. So you'll see at the top end the Chippendale, like that's coming out. It's just too cute. But you can kind of get the idea of what this deck is doing. It's also public on my Dreamborn, so if anyone who follows me over there, you can definitely see that. Is it public? It might be public. I don't know. I don't remember.
Humble, as always, the most prepared for every situation.
Of course. But yeah, so you'll see like you still have the same aggressive start, with the Daisy, Banala. You have Lilo, that's just a recurring threat. We have Piglet as just additional lore gain. Like if you can't deal with it, then like it's gonna very quickly run away with the game. Ana has been a powerhouse, being a 1/4 that will quest for 2, just is able to survive most things that Steel can throw at you, or at least require multiple pieces of interaction for them to deal with it. The chip has been pretty good, just being able to give something like +1 lore for a turn, as well as the Donald Duck kind of do the same thing in providing a bodyguard body. The Wendy Darling is very cheeky, as it just has ward, so it's just never being interacted with. Adversely, like it having 3 willpower also survives a big Sisu, and your opponent can't Sapphire Coil it, which is pretty nice.
Yeah,
we have
the list. This list looks. I'm gonna blow it up so we can see it better. But this list looks really sweet, dude.
Yeah, like the Chippendale is probably too cute. Like that needs to become something that's actually castable on its own.
No. I like the high rolling gamble stuff. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, like we probably just like switch that for like more Sisus or something else on the high end. I put it in there because it's a hero, and it like falls in line with all the other hero options. But yeah, I've been quite happy with it. The Baymax has been pretty neat as like another heal option that isn't Rapunzel, but like still gives you a little bit of extra reach. There is a line where like that Chip and Dale just becomes the Wreck-It Ralph, the ham hands. Yeah, because we do have a decent number of princesses that we can just get back to gain 2 lore. Yeah, you're just a really like streamlined aggressive deck. And you are just straight up like the moment your opponent inks a Ruby card, you just go, cool. This is a wonderful. I love this here. Probably gonna lose. I'm gonna play it out anyway, but I'm dead. But if your opponent inks a Sapphire or Steel card, you just look at him and go, okay, you're dead man walking. I don't know why you're still playing. There's nothing you can do. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
As you can tell, we take this very seriously. There are no shenanigans going on here.
Well, Jester, do you have any Mufasa related questions that I would be more than happy to answer? You just let me know. So when your opponent banishes you Mufasa, the top card of your library or your deck rather has to be like a Lady Tremaine or Maleficent Dragon, and then you get to just look at your opponent and go, "Gotcha," and then you win. Yeah. So like a lot of people don't understand that like the deck is not as straightforward as most people think. there is a lot of different small, very nuanced lines that you have to like recognize and be able to take.
Okay.
Like it's not just one of those like, oh, I curved out, everything's gonna be fine. Like I'm just gonna play to the board and hope everything's fine. Like no, you kind of have to make your own luck a lot of the time.
Okay. Yeah,
Like-
that makes sense.
Like Xenulous has seen me play the deck, and He's asked me multiple times, like, why did you hold this Mother Gothel in your hand for like 6 turns? I'm like, because I got to draw Rapunzel eventually, and like I'm not gonna put this thing on the table and like not have a way to draw cards.
The amount of times I've seen him just like death grip something that has damage on play, and he's just like, I mean, eventually I'm going to draw Rapunzel. She's going to come eventually. She has to. There's 4 in the deck.
I have had some pretty cool, pretty cool moments with Mufasa itself. Like I had 2 Mufasas and a couple other characters on the board. My opponent, Be Prepared to me. The first Mufasa hit a Mother Gothel, and the second Mufasa hit a Rapunzel. So I drew 3. So I got 2 guys and then drew 3, and was like, yeah, this game is over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty blessed when that happens.
Yeah, like so I'd argue that even the Amber Sapphire Fossa deck is probably just like a better deck without Fossa in it, just because you don't have a very high density of huge things that you can hit that are just kind of game breaking when it hits play. If you get to cheat it for free, like in the Ruby deck, you get Tremaine, you get Dragon, you get this huge list of cards that are just going to swing the game if Mufasa spins it to it. So it gives your opponent that second guess of like, do I banish this Mufasa? Like, do I have to? Like, should I? Like, what's on the top of his deck? Is it going to be something crazy? Like, because if it's a Tremaine or a Dragon, I'm going to get hard punished, and sometimes it is, and you in fact do get hard punished. Like even Logan at in some points, like Logan's a very, very good player, and he's also gotten got by like hasn't quested with his board, just goes, okay, Banisher Mufasa, and it spins into a dragon, and like all of a sudden his tempo's gone.
Right. I mean, sometimes you have to take the gamble against Mufasa. He'll just put you in a situation where, okay, I have to banish that, because if I don't, he gains too much lore, and I can't turn back the clock if I'm not running exactly a Pirate's Life. So you just have to let him take the gamble. Sometimes, back in the day, or even now, like they'd hit a Moana. But it's just so soul crushing when you're a Mufasa opponent just turns it over. It's like, oh, Maleficent Dragon, oh, Lady Tremaine, and you're just like, cool, yeah.
Oh, Surfer Stitch, draw 2 cards.
I mean, just that's just kind of the situation you put yourself in, and it's the nature of the deck. It's why you play the deck, to get those high roll moments that feel good.
Right.
Yeah. If I can figure out a way to shore up the Sapphire Steel matchup, I will likely be re-sleeving the deck. But right now, Sapphire is just way too powerful for me to even consider anything else. Like kind of like Logan said, like I threw everything against Sailor and R&B. Like obviously Sailor's on Ruby Sapphire, R&B's on Sapphire Steel. I threw Logan. You were part of it. How many decks did I throw against that wall?
No less than 5.
Yeah, it was at least 5, maybe 7. Just of me trying to say, like, I do not want to play the best deck. Like, I just give me something that can beat it, and I'll figure it out. And like nothing. There was nothing. So I was just like, cool. Looks like I'm just doing this again.
I mean, that's also the position I was going in this weekend, right? I genuinely thought I had found something that could stand toe to toe with just Sapphire in general. I didn't have false confidence. I actually had some data. I was doing well against R&B for the most part. I was doing well against Ruby Sapphire. Granted, I hadn't played my exact list into Sailor himself, but I was feeling confident going into the event, and I just got blasted, dude. Like, I legitimately felt so good. I was so confident. I was talking to Colors Law before I went, and like even she, to a degree, kind of disagreed. We were talking. She was just like, "I don't think Amethyst is where you need to be," and I was like, "No, like look at these results that I'm having. Like I can do it. I know it can. I know Amethyst can do it." And then like after my round 1, I won 1 game in the main bracket for the rest of the day, and I'm just in shambles. I'm like, oh. All right.
It's like you gotta, and then it's like with that point where like you gotta go back to everybody and you're like, okay, guys, you were right.
Yeah. Like I am traditionally the biggest like just impositive person when it comes to just the metagame, and anybody who's ever a doomer, like, oh, this is tier 0, nothing can beat it. I'm always in the camp of like something can beat it, because nothing beats everything. Like, it's just impossible. And to be fair, we did even see at the Inc. Incorporated Invitational, I mean, Grand Finals did not have Sapphire Steel or Ruby Sapphire. It was Amber Steel. It was Sapphire Amethyst. So they were curveballs. There are things that can beat the decks. They do not win hands down every time. As a matter of fact, I don't think Sapphire Steel won a single event this past weekend yet. I know the one in Texas still going on that Lorcana Bro and Zan Saeed are playing in.
Are they so?
I think I had seen one on Inkdex this morning, but I could be wrong.
Oh, so I'm talking about just the bigger events that are going on right now.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So when I say broadly events, I'm sure
Right.
I'm sure there's a good amount of locals that had Sapphire Steel take the first spot.
We're talking about like the 100 Burton Memorial.
I'm talking about the 60+ person events.
Yeah.
Right.
At the moment, Sapphire Steel has not taken down any of those things. But with that being said, I think I will be some flavor of Sapphire gamer going forward. I just dude, I really got demoralized after this weekend. I'm not gonna lie. I was like,
finally, I'm not the only one who's going through it, man.
I was like, because I had so much faith. I really did. I was trying, and I thought. But yeah, I'm just gonna do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing, and it's gonna be good. And then I'm gonna have a fantastic set. Now that I've made this mental shift, I'm just accepting it.
I mean, that's one of the big things too, though, right? Is like you guys still have the CCS coming up, right?
Next weekend or this coming weekend. Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's good that you found out that Amethyst Steel isn't the calling now, opposed to then, right?
No, for sure. That's something that Colors Law and I talked about. I was like, well, I'm glad that I just got punched in the face this weekend so hard, as opposed to going to CCS and having that find out then. But yeah, it really does pain me a little bit to just say that, because again, I was the biggest proponent of something beats these decks, and something will be the thing that counters it, just like Ruby Amethyst was to Ruby Sapphire last set.
Dude, I was right there with you. Me and Mufasa were going strong, and then when they were like, "Oh, Blue Steel best deck," and I was like, "I feast. We're golden." I just did not realize and forgot that Sapphire Steel just got 4 cards that have the term "play for free" in it. So I'm turn 1 card soldiers, and then my opponent just Vitalosphere, play Bell, go, and I'm like, yeah, play Mother Gothel, haha, and they're like, that's so cool, man. Sing Storm, play 2 other items, play the Scrooge for free. I'm like, yeah, that's how that works. And I'm just so far behind that I can't even keep up.
Right.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
You're reverbing quite a bit, dude.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it's way
significantly better. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Damn, Xenulous isn't a real one. He was just gonna let you talk like a robot.
Dude, I was, it's one of those things. I like to push buttons, and sometimes those buttons aren't the buttons I should be pushing.
For sure, for sure.
It's you don't have to say deck lists or whatever, but so looking at the CCS, what are can you tell us what you are thinking about running or something you've been testing?
Well,
you don't have to give out major spoilers.
No major spoilers. As you've already kind of guessed, right? We're gonna run Sapphire.
Sapphire X.
Yeah, and if you know me, you know I am not a Steel player. I cannot stand that color. It is not something that brings me joy when I cast a Steel card. I've even sleeved it and tested it a little bit. And there are some okay play patterns,
right?
But all the play patterns that I enjoyed were all just Sapphire cards,
right?
Because anytime I was like, yes, I have this Zeus, I guess I'll remove your thing, yay! It's not as fun. So I'll
likely cast Brawl and like it.
Yeah, I wanna have these big flashy turns where I'm ink a card, trigger my coil, ink another card, trigger this coil, shift my big Sisu, wipe your whole board, and then look at you kind of like how Samuel L. Jackson just and just like force
Say
me
what
to
you
do
can.
something. So like that's probably where I'll be, is likely some variant of Ruby Sapphire, whether that be sharks or items or traditional or Sisu on ice or Mulan Flynn shenanigans. I have no idea what it's going to look like. I just know the colors are going to be one of those colors is definitely going to be sapphire, and the other color is going to be something that pairs very well with it, and it's likely going to be red.
No, I'm it's gonna be sapphire. I just don't know what flavor of sapphire it is yet.
Xenulous is showing up with sapphire puppies.
Uh,
Fool
You joke,
mean-
there is a sapphire puppies list that did like take like top 4 in a 22 player event.
Mhm.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it.
It's running 20 puppies, dude.
I'm just saying, much like Humble started off with, last set, Amethyst was objectively the strongest thing you could do. And I was happy. I was feasting because, Amethyst is awesome. That's my favorite color. But yeah, this set, it just seems like Sapphire is the strongest thing you can do. So I'm not going to fight it anymore. I'm just going to join. I'm just going to join the winning side because you know what feels good? Winning things in general feels good. So
Like just doing well overall throughout the day, right?
yeah,
Like nobody.
when you go through a 6-round tournament and you win a total of 3 games, kind of feels bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of have to like understand that losing doesn't feel as bad when the game has been close, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing a non-game, you're just like watching your opponent solitaire for 10 minutes, you're like, I could be doing literally anything else in my time.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
yeah.
and that's the thing. I had a lot of moments where the games just weren't close, dude. Where I was just getting dumpstered, and I was like, and it wasn't because I was playing poorly, and it was just my deck choice, and like that's kind of the takeaway. Like I wasn't playing poorly. My opponents were playing well, and just got the things they needed to see, and yeah, like when your god hand gets run over because your opponent's playing well, it's your deck list.
So I can kind of see some of the questions being asked on your Twitch. And I
Yeah.
will kind of take the opportunity to answer this one.
Sure.
So not having a lot of time and like getting correct playtesting in is you have to have a playtesting partner that is of equal or higher skill than you, that you respect and will be informative. So like just for example, like I haven't been able to test a whole lot. Last night was my first real like testing session that wasn't just kind of me solitaring or playing like community games. It was me and R&B sat down and we played for like 2 hours. And you can kind of see where like we had different sets, and like whoever won the die roll the very first game, for example, he won the die roll, so I was on the draw that game, but then we alternated, so I got a good smattering of information for being on the play, being on the draw. I took some notes, right? So that things that would help me in the future. So, for example, he was playing purple steel. He was playing amethyst steel. He got, I think, 2 games on that list. Okay, correction. He got 1 game. No, he got 2 games. He got 2 games. But what it helped me realize was they're not that like the amethyst steel deck isn't a mid-range deck anymore. Like it very much presents itself as such, and typically in the past, like you didn't have to ramp as much against mid-range decks. You just had to be able to answer their threats. So the line of like coil on 2, brawl on 3 to get anything, or baby Sisu on 3 to get anything, quickly falls flat because you're not able to answer multiple things at once. So like what you need to do is, and like you'll actually see on my notes, it's ramp over coil, right? Because I was inking like turn 2 TPOs so I could just get the coil established and then be able to kind of single target his threats down one at a time. The problem is that deck isn't doing single threats one at a time. It's just like turn 1, here's my 1-drop. Turn 2, here's 2 2-drop. Here's 2 1-drops. Turn 3, here's a 1-drop and a 2-drop. Right, they're just going super wide.
That's
So
really good.
Yeah, so ramping is definitely where you kind of wanna be. There was a turn where I was able to, double sail ink 3 times. I passed the turn. My Ryan was like, "Okay, go to like 15," and I was just like, coil trigger, play big Sisu, wipe your board, go."
I think you just gave Jester Dujour a mental meltdown there.
Yeah, that's.
What do you think?
I'm scared of Sapphire.
Yeah, no, like
I'm
so,
not afraid to say that.
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Like, yes, Sapphire is extremely powerful, but you also have to understand that like not every game against Ruby Sapphire is going to be the same. Like, in order to make these benchmarks of being able to ink 3 or 4 times in a turn, the deck still needs a very specific sequence of cards.
Right.
So sometimes they just don't have it. Like we've all been in a position we're playing against any of the Ruby decks, and you're just like, okay, if you have B prep here, I lose. But if you don't, then like next turn I win.
Right.
And no matter how many cards they dig, sometimes they just don't see it, and you still get that. So there is an air of like make them have it. That you don't always have to say like, oh, my opponent's playing Sapphire. I'm just like I'm just so behind already out the jump.
Right.
Like I needed to play sail, draw into or have another sail, have the ink to cast that sail, and then have 3 cards that were inkable that I wanted to ink to put into the inkwell to get me to that spot, right? Like so I needed the correct sequence of card draw. I needed the correct line of cards already in my hand established. So like there is that. So like don't take the things that you can pull off as everyone's going to be able to do it. Like it is not easy, but it is there are lines available.
So to touch on the part 2 of that question, the most efficient way to play test, how do you like when you sit down to actually play test a deck? Are you just jamming games, or are you do you play open handed, or do you do any of those sort of things?
So typically, and like I'll let Xenulous also kind of riff on this as well. But typically, when we like as a team are testing, there won't be any like we won't play the entire match open hand. If, for example, if I'm testing Sapphire Steel, a deck that I've never really touched, played with, considered, like I'll bring in RMB, I'll play with my hand open, and he'll bird me, and he'll say, okay, these are the play patterns that you're looking for. These are the ink decisions that you did incorrectly, and here's why you did them incorrectly.
Sure.
So like I have always been the biggest believer that it's not it matters less that you get the right answer if you don't know how you got the right answer. I'd rather you make the objectively wrong play, but have sound, solid reasoning behind the reason you made that play than to stumble upon the correct play and have no idea how you got there.
That definitely makes sense. Xenulous,
No,
you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, just kind of echoing that. A lot of the time in our like internal testing, we'll have one person watching one side and somebody else watching the other side, and we'll have 2 people just kind of talk through the lines while seeing the hands and like discuss, well, if this then that, or if you do this then that, and just trying to find out what like objectively, given the information we have from the board and the things that they played and how many cards your opponent has in hand, what objectively the best thing you can do would be. So I would say, like, if you're testing in any capacity, even if it's not with a person, even if you were just, even if you're just gold fishing and running throughout things, always have something in your mind of, this is the goal I'm trying to get to, and if my opponent does this, what is something I can do that will make their best play not as good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So like for like our team tested, one thing that we like to do is if you're playing a new deck, right? Or if you're playing any deck and you want to see like how a perfect curve feels against your worst matchup, we'll just have both the players fish out the perfect curve from both decks and then go about it that way and see just trying to just like figure out, given the best, like if your opponent like opens up the turn 1 bell, right, and then they have like, and you know that they have song, or have a good idea that they have at least one song. Like, how do you play around that? And that's like kind of the stuff that we try to do. I don't know if you guys do anything of the similar sorts.
Nothing to that extent. Like we've done it once during the Bucky meta.
Okay. Yeah.
And quickly found out that the Bucky deck was just so powerful if they got their ideal, quote unquote nut draw.
Yeah.
That it didn't matter what you did. It's been the only, like, so we kind of quickly stopped doing that because it was just so
It was so oppressive, to say the least.
Yeah, it's
right.
like
everybody's just like, I want to go for pizza instead of playing.
Yeah, like finding out that if like there's this deck that if it just high rolls you so hard that like no matter what you can do, no matter how good of a player you are, you're just dead. Like it just doesn't matter. We kind of stopped doing that and went more to like proper mulligan decisions, how to kind of play with what you're getting dealt, because that's what's going to separate, the good from the great. Right. Understanding that you're like this specific ink decision on turn 3 is going to impact how your game looks on turn 15. Understanding that like how you mulligan is also going to affect your not only your curve but also how your opponent can play the game, right? Like if you're playing, for example, you're playing the Amethyst Steel deck, I'm playing Ruby Sapphire, and you go or I go first, right? You go, I ink a card, play a popsicle. You ink a card, play a Chernbox Followers. I play a Tipo. Now, Chernbox Followers is questing, but you're popping it to draw a card. Right. So, but that's just how that line works. Because if I don't have Tipo, I go Sail the Azure Sea. That Chernbox Followers is not popping. You are getting at least one more lore out of that thing before it's gone. Right. So, like, just the mulligan decisions and the play patterns, all like just in turns 1 and 2, determine how the opponent will proceed with their turn, and you need to keep that in mind. Like, so that's more along the lines of how we approach playtesting. And also, it's just sometimes it's just the boys are hanging out and we're jamming games, and because there is something to be said about just the quantity of games that you can get in. Because you obviously you're going to learn a deck the more you play it.
Right.
So that there is that.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think?
Yeah, and that makes sense. Sorry, am I too loud?
No,
You're
good.
You're a smidge loud in my ear, but
for some reason. Anyways, yeah, no, that makes a lot more sense as far as you're giving me a look.
I'm just
sorry.
No, you're good.
You're good, man.
That's it.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not the best, most thoughtful today.
No, we also just kind of threw a lot of information at you at that point.
Oh yeah.
Which is something I have a tendency to do.
Y'all got some big brains.
Hey, the community asks a question, we answer it.
Hey,
we do in fact take the Princess card game a little seriously. I like, bro, I'm sure you also have the same kind of, I don't know, maybe like experience would be a good word. Between Humble and I'm sure we have tens of thousands of Lorcana games played over this past year. So like, a lot of the times when somebody asks us, well, what's the best way to do X, Y, Z? The answer isn't always very simple that comes out, just because we do have so much time invested. So when we try to explain things, sometimes we can get off in the weeds of like, oh, well, if this and this and this. But it's because we've had a lot of points where, it might have been stumbling blocks and things that we've gone through that we can just explain now to make more sense. It just takes a little bit more time to get to that point.
Yeah.
Right.
But we just, genuinely when we explain things, we just try to give people the information that's good now, so you don't have to go through the stumbling paths that we did, so you can hopefully have an easier time going forward.
Yeah, there's a reason when people ask us like, have you considered this? Like, I'm gonna put this card in my deck, and like it's really cool, right? And like, no, we've been there, done that. Let me share with you my results, so you don't have to go through the same thing I did.
Yeah, speaking of okay, so this is something.
One
This is
second.
this is a good segue for well.
Just 1 second. Let me
Yeah.
do this really quick. Boom.
We did. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good segue there. Where it's starting to. I think where he's going with that is like, you know, you guys test a lot of things and you give a lot of good feedback to the community, along with like your guys' Discord server is amazing, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, we try.
And it's there's a lot of helpful stuff in there for not only like competitive players but also casual players. You know, I've seen I follow all you guys on X and for those of you that are on Bluesky, but I've seen multiple lists that people were taken to like movie tournaments or Lorcana tournaments and stuff along those lines where like, hey, I played this. This is the list I played in. This moderately casual event. Shout out to Humble for helping me assemble it or whatever. Stuff like that. So I mean, like, it's really cool to see you guys like not only helping out with most of the competitive stuff, but also dabble in like the more casual stuff for the social players as well.
Yeah, honestly, the I helped Sarah with a deck. I think her league does like a theme like every week.
Right.
And the theme was the damage your character, like however much damage your character has on it, it gets resist equal to the amount of damage counters. So of course I was just like, you're playing Ruby Amber, like,
yeah.
Here's this Mother Gothel on turn 2. It's got resist 3. Go nuts.
Yeah. Your turn.
Yeah.
It's also something that like Rebecca Quest and I have talked about. She's I guess kind of in a way felt at times that she couldn't reach out to one of us because she's for sure much so on the more casual side of the community, which is fine. If the way you enjoy Disney Lorcana is you like the art and you like the themes and that those are the decks you like to play and you have fun at locals and like you have a really good time with the community, that's awesome. I highly encourage that.
Absolutely.
Not everybody is striving to win worlds, right? And that's okay. So for sure, a lot of what we do is making sure that even if your goal isn't to win worlds, even if your goal is to just get better in general, if your goal is to win a game at locals, if your goal is to have a deck that's themed that you think is fun,
Right.
do that. Like, if that's the way you want to engage with the game and the community, do that. And we're also here for you for that.
Right on.
We'll do whatever, man. Like some of the most fun I've had building decks is these movie themes and these like different restrictions people their local league puts on for the social players. Like it's fun, it's interesting, it's very sometimes challenging, and like that's a part of the game that like is very alluring to me. And like Logan said, not everyone is trying to spike a DLC. That's fine. Like if you want to roll up with Sapphire Emerald puppies, I got you.
Which could potentially be a thing.
Maybe not an emerald, but potentially.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure something out. I'm sure you'll.
Yeah,
figure
we're
something
Sapphire puppies.
I'm sure you'll figure something out.
Gotta get these canine crunchies out here, dog.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
there's also a little pride into it too, right? Because like Sarah messaged me after her league, and she was like, "I crushed everyone 2-0. It wasn't close." I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Hey, shout out to Sarah. Yeah, she's a wonderful human being too. I had the pleasure
yeah.
of working with her in Seattle. It was great.
Sarah's a rock star, dude. Like, anybody who gets the opportunity to work with her is blessed.
Yeah, she is. Dude, she cracks me up.
She's great.
Yeah, she's a great person.
Quite literally everything we have established has been essentially due to her. Like obviously we're the face, right? But like we would not be the face or have the image we have without Sarah being the ringleader for this unruly bunch of hooligans.
Right. Yeah, speaking of players doing better, since Jester started playing Mufasa, his win rate has gone up exponentially.
Well, it had.
Yeah, and then he switched.
And then I tried messing with it.
Oh Well, that's how you learn, right? Like I didn't get to where I'm at with the deck by just being like, all right, yeah, these are definitely the cards that are good. You
Right.
you don't understand how long it took me to realize Lumiere was the truth.
Hmm.
Because
Oh, it
like
took weeks.
on face value, it's just like a 2/2 that like is like a semi lord for your guys. It's like whatever, and then you realize, oh, you mean the Ruby deck can't brawl my Gaston anymore?
Right.
In.
That's
Oh, you mean the Amethyst decks are now when they challenge they trade?
yeah.
In.
Mhm.
It makes a world of difference whenever you just add that one power stat line. I experienced that the most whenever back in the Bucky meta when they were playing Hidden Cove. You
Mhm.
know, I mean some Emerald decks still play it, not a lot, but like just that one extra strength boost, brother, it goes hard.
Anything that makes combat math a little wonky. I mean, just all of a sudden, brawl doesn't hit this target. All of a sudden, let the storm rage on doesn't banish this target. All of a sudden, my 2/2 trades with your 3/3. Like,
I think the worst time I ever had playing Lorcana was when I was playing Blurpula and I was playing against um, Sapphire Steel, and they played two Cogsworths, and I was like,
Yup.
I cannot do anything.
yeah, it's
I
like,
think-
oh, cool. So you just win the game. Awesome.
I can't trade efficiently. It's like it was like I was doing combat math on something. I was like, okay, I can snake and fox, 2/2. This is amazing. I can snake and fox a 2/2 and it's still alive. what is going on here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's
not great.
Yeah, it's like like you said, just like the little things that make combat math a little bit different. It's just like all of a sudden this game becomes way more difficult.
If you don't mind me asking, what did you change?
One of the colors switched over to tried an amber emerald Mufasa list, and it is horrendous.
Yes, like the issue with the other ink colors over Ruby is you don't have that like that roulette wheel that Ruby gives you, right? Like even when I play mirror matches, right, or I'd play a different deck into the Mufasa deck, and if their color isn't Ruby, it's some other color, I'm banishing your Mufasa on site because whatever's coming out doesn't matter. I
Right.
don't care. Right? It's when it's Ruby and it's like it could be a Medusa, it could be a Tremaine, it could be a dragon, it could be like any number of it could be a Maui, like a tempo Maui sometimes is even good because like I've already committed to killing or banishing your board, so like this Maui is just gonna get like extra free value. I've had plenty of times where my opponent like challenges my Mufasa, their thing survives. I get a Maui on the next turn. I go, this Maui's gonna challenge. I'll play Rapunzel, heal it, go, and like that's still just a huge tempo swing.
What do you think?
That's incredible.
That's incredible.
Yeah, like I'm like it's very difficult for me to want to swap off of Ruby because of those reasons.
Right.
The issue Ruby is in like a weird spot is because like the mid-rangey character decks that you were feasting on just even like one set ago, they don't really exist because the mid-rangey character deck with Sapphire Steel is just able to interact with you like old Amber Steel did, right? I have this singer on turn 1 that's gonna banish your thing, and then on turn 2 it's gonna banish your thing, and then on turn 3, guess what? It's gonna banish your thing.
Yeah,
And it's like puts you in a position where you're just like, well, cool, I guess this is wonderful. I'm having such a wonderful time.
hey guys, I'm going home.
Yeah,
There was
But-
I played Emerald Sapphire. Yeah, well, you looked at the Emerald Sapphire list I sent you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
It's the deck that I played yesterday, and brother, it felt so good. There's like one turn where I sang "You're Welcome" on a person's. I don't know what it was. It was some character, right? I think it was a 5-drop Robin Hood. We just shuffled it back into their deck. They drew 2 cards. I sang another "You're Welcome" on another card, and then I hard casted a bend to my will. And I was like, I think the game's over.
And
Yeah,
just
there-
like that, before your very eyes.
And
Yeah, there are some plays that you make. They're just like I'm clearly the most intelligent human that's ever graced this world.
Yeah, it was like look at their discard, and they're like they discarded like just all of their value, and I was like, okay, they drew the next card, and they were like, yeah, let's go to game 2.
Yeah, every single time my Mufasa spins into a Tremaine or like a dragon, I'm just like, I'm clearly the best player this game's ever seen. I have an IQ of over 3,000. You are clearly beneath me. And then like sometimes it spins into like a card soldiers, and I'm like, I'm a fool. This is all my fault.
Oh man, so Emerald Sapphire is probably where I'm gonna stay at for quite a while. It's like the deck is pretty solid, and it feels overall pretty good.
You're playing Sapphire, so that's objectively correct.
As long as the other color isn't amber, the Sapphire deck, Sapphire X is probably just a good call.
Yeah, I support this decision 100%.
I support this decision 100%. What about you, Jester? You going to Sapphire?
Maybe.
Sapphire Fossil. You got one of the, hey, look, Humble's got a Sapphire Fossil right here for you.
I mean, like, look, disclaimer: don't play against Ruby.
Don't play, yeah. That is correct.
Yeah, you're getting absolutely eviscerated by a big Sisu. But if they don't play it.
So here's an interesting question from the chat: is do you guys think that there needs to be any sort of bans or erratas for aimed towards Sapphire?
I do. So
talk to me.
Sapphire Coil not having the clause of once per turn is definitely a problem. I've had a couple turns where I was playing against the Turbo Chernobog deck, and on turn like 6 they played a Chernobog, and I was like, man, that is huge. That's a big thing that I can't deal with. Anyway, ink a card, double coil trigger, Fishbone Quill, double coil trigger, play Baby Sisu, banish a Chernobog. Go ahead.
Yikes.
Yeah, like I shouldn't. Yikes. You should not be able to do that.
Yeah, that's
right. So if Coil said once per turn, it would be less oppressive. But also, Sapphire just getting the 4 best cards of the set is a problem, right? Three of those 4 cards just having the clause play for free on it is a problem.
So like, what's your opinion? So like, obviously the thing that makes like Sapphire Steel so good is having the 1-drop cantrips, right? Being able to play 4 Fortisphere, 4 Popsicle. Do you think that the issue or a issue is lying with it having 8 1-drop cantrips, opposed to I don't know, anything else, I guess?
So yes and no. Like, it makes it a little bit more consistent because you do have that more of that draw power.
Sure.
But it does. It's kind of 6-1, half does the other. Like, there's 2 sides of the coin. On one side of the coin, you're turboing through your deck. You're finding all these pieces, and like you're doing pretty good. Like, you're doing some unfair things. The other side of that coin is you're playing these popsicles, these spheres. You're churning through your deck, and you're spending 5-6 minutes doing all these game actions to effectively do absolutely nothing.
Right.
Like, the number
You're
of
also
times
taking up more deck space for another 1-drop cantrip, which, like, on its face is not bad, but having the things that interact with them are the things that make them powerful.
Right.
As part of that coin. Sorry, I think I interrupted you, sir.
No, you're good, man. You can take it away. Go ahead.
I mean, like, yeah, just there's give and take for all of it, right? While yes, they are inherently like good things you can do, and like Humble saying, like they allow you to churn through your deck, you're also having to spend deck slots on those things. So there's a very realistic world where you just kind of chain into 1-drop items and you find things you can't play because instead of inking those 1-drop items, you played them. So sure, maybe you drew some cards and did some things, but you still have to get to the point where you can use the things that you've put into play, and you still have to find the things. I don't know. I agree that like maybe something needs to be done, either a rotation of some kind, or I don't necessarily think there needs to be. I might be in the minority. I think
it's an errata. I think it's an errata. I think you change Sapphire Coil to once per turn. and you change Bell to being like have if Bell had the same text that set one Ariel did of this character cannot exert to sing songs, that card is fine. That card is still powerful, but isn't as egregiously broken in like a steel deck, for example. Because the reason the the Ruby decks aren't really trying to take advantage of Bell is because there's nothing she can do on turn 2 that is good for you, right? Like she can't sing a song. The best song she can sing in the color Ruby is like Teeth Inhibitions, but
Right.
that's just worse strength or worse Storm Rage on.
Yeah. I mean,
So like
that definitely makes sense.
yeah, like there's just no other cards in the Ruby pairing that you want to like dedicate these slots in order to make your one drop better. Obviously, Steel has it's more consistent because you're already playing those 8 1-drop cantrip items.
Right.
You're already utilizing those songs, Strength of a Raging Fire, Storm Rage on. Those are still like the most quote unquote premium early removal spells in the game that Bell can now just sing on to.
Yeah.
So you're more incentivized to play Bell, right? But you also need to understand that like just because Bell is a good card doesn't mean she's unbeatable, right? Like I played against Ryan last night, and he goes, turn 1, Popsicle, play Bell, and I'm just like, okay, ink, play Popsicle. He goes, turn 2, play Popsicle, play Bell, play Sail, ink another card, play another Popsicle. He has 2 cards in hand, and I was like, that cool. Play Sapphire Coil, ink a card, kill your thing, go. And the next turn he goes, Fishbone Quill, have no cards in hand. I was like, okay, Sapphire Coil trigger, CC your Bell, go ahead. And now all of a sudden I'm in the lead because he just spent the first 3 turns in the game effectively not really doing anything.
Right. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. What are your thoughts?
There's also like there's a skill curve into like actually having to pop those items to play Bell. Because just like Humble was saying, you can put yourself in a position where, oh, now I don't have anything to eat with Hiram.
Yes.
So now I don't get to draw cards.
Right.
And even though my cantrips, my 1-drop items replace themselves, I've just gassed out because I've tried to ink and just trusted that I would find something off the top of my deck, and I didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, sorry, I keep hearing a word, and I assume I know you've played Magic. You other guys, have you played Magic before? I'm assuming that's where this
I have.
cantrip term is coming from.
So for newer players, what cantrip means is it is a card that replaces itself.
Okay.
So anything that you play and it replaces itself is considered a cantrip.
Okay.
Cool. So when we talk about
if you've ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, the same term is applied to like floaters, right? Like old school Yu-Gi-Oh players will know Shining Angel, Mystic Tomato are floaters, right? Like when you destroy them in combat, they replace themselves with another character from the deck.
Okay.
Right.
So like it essentially floats into something else. Cantrip is the same thing, but you get to control when it happens, right? So like
Fair enough.
pay 1 ink, play this thing, draw a card. That's a cantrip.
Right.
Okay. Because that's the only context that I've ever heard that word used before is I played Dungeons and Dragons.
Correct.
So it's
That's where it's from.
It doesn't cost anything, but that's very different.
Well, like,
it's kind of the same idea, right? Not costing anything means you don't lose a card in TCGs. So even though you played a card, it was technically free because you didn't lose a card out of your hand.
yeah, you're not losing on card. You're not losing on card advantage or card economy because it's a card that replaces itself. That's why cards like Friends from the Other Side or Pot of Greed are so good because it replaces itself +1, right? Like it's an inherent +1, right? And like a lot of players when they see Friends on the Other Side, they go, oh, it's +2. It's only +1 because you have to use that card to get that effect, right? So the cantrip is just replacing itself, and then like a card like Friends is replacing itself +1.
Okay. Cool.
Does that make more sense?
It does.
There you go.
The more you know.
The more you
imagination.
Where's the reading rainbow guy? He got me through a lot.
Butterfly in the sky.
Oh, very good. So you got CCS coming up. Right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that you're probably going through heck playtesting for that. So
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Are you locked in?
No.
No.
I am.
Xenulous is like I was until last weekend.
Yeah, literally until Saturday,
Yeah.
yesterday at
I was
10
locked in
a.m.
until
I was
yesterday.
pretty good.
That's
yeah.
actually wild to hear because I actually locked in last night. So like you unlocked and I locked in on the same day.
Dude, that was the way it was whenever we went to Fort Worth though too. So like in Fort Worth, I was locked in on Ruby Sapphire, and then we go back to the hotel room, and me and my wife are playtesting, and we're playtesting, and she's playing Bucky, right? So that's the boogeyman. So we go back to the hotel room, and she beats me like 7 games in a row, and I'm like, I hate this deck. I am not playing this anymore. And then I locked in Jafar Wheel that night. And then I was 1-2-0 away from making day 2 with Jafar Wheel. It was amazing.
Nice, dude. Yeah, like that's wild to hear too, because like I'm very confident that had I played Ruby Sapphire in Texas, I would have day 2'd, because my favorite match to play with Ruby Sapphire was Bucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't lose to it. It felt free. You're gonna discard my hand. That's so cool. B prep off the top. Now you lose.
Yeah.
It's always there.
That was the way that it was like up until I learned how to play against it. I had some. Occasionally I like to pick Sailor's brain about certain things.
Hey, same.
The dude is a genius, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
We might have like a little inkling on that.
I have a little bit of an idea,
Yeah, right. I may or may not have foil Sisu signed by Sailor.
He may or not be our team captain, so like we might know a little bit about that.
Just a little bit.
Well, I'm glad you guys heard of the guy.
Oh yeah.
He's very smart whenever it comes to especially red blue.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does with other color pairings, because every time I see him, it's like every time I see him, he's always playing B preps and Sisus.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, you're not wrong either.
Yeah, if I was just sweeping the leg on every event that I participated in with Mufasa, I would never swap off that deck.
I don't think you really swap off that deck anyways.
I have indeed been called out, but yeah, I mean, like it's my pet deck. But like I said, like if my pet deck was just out here, choke slamming the competition, like Prime Undertaker, I don't think I'd swap off that thing ever.
Like Prime Undertaking, yeah, for sure. That's yeah, but it's really funny. So we still don't have any word on Worlds.
We don't.
It's a sad.
I'm hopeful though. 2027 Worlds is coming. I promise.
Yeah, that's and then, so are you guys? I know that DLC schedules aren't out yet, but given that we do get DLC schedules, are you planning on attending as many as you can?
Oh yeah.
I shall not be missing a North American DLC.
Yeah,
I don't think it. Hubble, you've only missed 1 DLC, right?
I missed 2.
You missed 2.
I missed Toronto and Seattle.
Okay, sure. I don't.
And after
I don't really count Toronto.
I wasn't even upset that I didn't qualify for Continentals.
Right.
I was upset I didn't get to go.
Okay.
So like I will be qualifying this season. You can put money on that.
Same.
And it's not because I wanted to participate for the glory, for the chance for Worlds, but like I got sent a picture of, it was like Logan, Kendall, and Sailor and Wonder, and they were all in the teacup ride.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I will never miss this event again.
That was the selling point.
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't matter to me if I'm a competitor. It doesn't matter to me if I'm going to Worlds. I don't care if I top 16 nationals. I want to go to Disney World with the boys.
Heck yeah.
That's all I
It was a
needed.
fantastic
I
time.
wanna slam a churro and vomit on the log ride. That's all I want.
Heck yeah. I mean, hashtag goals, am I right?
Yeah. And I want Xenulous to be the one to rub my back as I'm vomiting on the bushes.
It's okay, big guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the one to hold your hair.
Exactly. I mean, like probably the other way around, because like I got not a lot, but
I'm sure there's something back there to grab onto.
Lady Humble might agree with you.
Oh man, that's funny. Xenulous, what about you? You going to all the DLCs?
I did not miss a single North American DLC last season. I shan't be missing a single North American DLC this season. I might even go do an overseas one. Who knows?
Yeah, I've actually thought about that myself.
Ryan and I are talking about that. As soon as we get any sort of information, we're going to start making plans. But yeah, much like Humble said, I will be actually qualifying for Continentals instead of having to go play in an LCQ pod this year. You can 1000% put money on that. I shall not be having what happened to me this weekend happen again. Yeah, don't you worry, boys. I will be up there.
As long as you don't pick up Amethyst Steel again, I think you should be fine.
Don't break my heart. It's okay.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
we've basically been berated to the point where it's just like we've heard it enough times by everyone else on the team. Just play the good deck, just play the best deck, and just win. And just like, but I don't wanna. And now we've like seen the light and like, fine, man. We're just play the best deck, I guess.
Well,
Yeah, cool.
Amethyst Sapphire is still a thing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. You got your Amethyst, and you got the best color. So what could go wrong?
His board gets soloed by a Sisu.
I play into Ruby and they play Be Prepared.
Oh my gosh.
Factual. Yeah.
Yeah, that's I don't like that card. I play that card and I don't like that card.
I love that card. But you know
what's
hilarious? Being in a meta where Be Prepared just might not be good enough.
I mean, that's also very true.
The number of times I've played like the Shark variant of Ruby Sapphire, and I have ways to deal with my opponent's board, and they go Pete, and I'm like, okay, sure, go ahead. They go Pete, and I'm like, all right, sure, go ahead. And they're like, Pete, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't physically can't bet the game.
Yeah.
I hate that card. I hate that card with a fiery, burning passion in my heart.
Pete or Be Prepared? Probably Pete, huh?
Pete.
The Pete.
I hate Pete. I cannot stand Pete.
Pete and repeat. What do you think about Pete? What are your thoughts on Pete?
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem if you're playing actions.
He's like.
He said, "I play characters. I don't care."
Fun fact: a lot of the reason I did not swap off of Mufasa for a very long time is because when my opponent played Pete, I liked to look at them and go, "That's cool. I don't care."
Yeah.
It does. That card is just a vanilla 3/3 for you, my guy. I'm sorry, but I do not care about this card.
Right on.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
they throw down Pete, they get a hearty thumbs up.
Or when your opponent throws down like a 2-drop Ursula, you're just like,
yeah,
sure,
take a look.
All my next 4 turns.
Yeah, wow, all of these cards can kill me.
Yeah, now you see this Exodia combo is coming. Would you like to concede now or later?
There's I can't remember who I heard say it, but somebody said I can't remember which podcast it was in, but they were talking about Be Prepared, and their thought on Be Prepared for this format is Be Prepared's only good in the decks that don't care about Be Prepared, because they're playing either 2-drop Ursula or Pete. All of the decks that Be Prepared are good against, it's also the worst card against them or something. It was something like that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of ways for them to deal with that card, because like those decks do kind of like get soloed by one single B prep.
Right.
You kind of have to like play the Ursulas and the Petes to stymie that.
Right.
And like Pete's not even like a full on answer, right? Like Pete is one of those cards where you're like, okay, buys me one more turn. I hope I can get there. Like Ursula is a full answer, but like if I don't have it, then like Ursula just looks dumb. And then like you Pete me on like turn 6, and I'm like, okay, are you at 20? You're not? Cool, B prep.
Yeah. I think one of so when we went to LA's and played in the LCQs or whatever, I did not do well. I had like a dummy. I showed up with a Ruby Amethyst, and I just don't enjoy playing the deck, so I just didn't do well. And then in the side events, because that's what you do after you scrub out, is you go play some side events to get some tickets and Baymaxes and stuff. And I played Amethyst Steel. I played Zach Bivens' list in an LCQ pod, or not an LCQ, in a side event pod. And my opponent was at 6 ink and they played a Maui Shark. And I was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. I played a Pete. You know, of course with my like Lawrence and Smeeze and stuff. And then the following turn, I bounced my Pete and replayed Pete. And then he used a Shark and challenged something. Got back and be prepared. And I was like, neat. Play Pete. It's like, the dude had a Maui Shark in play and was locked out of actions for the rest of the game. That was when Amethyst Steel was really good.
Yeah, see, like especially with this new item meta we're going into, Pete's still very strong. Don't get me wrong. Pete is still a powerhouse of a card.
Right.
But like you're seeing a lot of people kind of move to this, the item variant because it just Pete. They don't care. Like, you don't have to care about Pete.
Right.
Oh, you played Pete? Here's 4 items.
Yeah. So
I see your Pete. I raise you a Scrooge McDuck for free.
and a bell for free. And a Tamatoa to get back the other stuff. And don't forget my 7 Oswald triggers. And
good job, nerd. Good job.
I guess you can have a turn now.
The number of times I've seen Oswald just bottom all the things I would need to help me win a game is absurd. It's like, oh, there's my Hiram and 2 of my Tamatoas, and cool, there goes my my Saily Azurite Sea and my Tipo and my Tala, and oh, it was wonderful. I'm having such a fun time.
Yeah, that was my experience. That was my experience for the one time I playtested Oswald. And then I playtested Oswald in one game. He bottom decked 5 cards, and I was like, I really wanted those.
There might be an episode of Lab Rats. It might be the forgotten episode that never got edited and aired, but it might have aired. I don't remember if it's up there or not. I'm so prepared at this, but we were playing, and Ryan resolved his Oswald and was like, Oswald trigger, put a Hiram at the bottom. I was like, okay. He goes, Oswald trigger, put a Tamatoa at the bottom. I was like, that's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And he goes, Oswald trigger, hit a workshop. And I was like, cool. He goes, Fishbone Quill, Oswald trigger, put another Hiram at the bottom. I was like, that absolutely wonderful. Love this for me. It was like Oswald trigger, Tinkerbell goes to the bottom, and Swords goes to the bottom, and Wheel goes to the bottom. I was like, yes.
You're like, okay, this is my magical Christmas time.
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, that's so cool. Turn everything sideways, go to 17, go ahead.
Yeah, that's crazy. You said that this was the episode of I'm sorry. Did you say Lab Rats? Because I thought that name got rebranded.
It was, but it's an older episode. So
older episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was when he still had hope for Oswald.
I got you.
When that card got spoiled in the D23 set.
Yeah.
And he of course bought a playset of Enchanted Oswalds.
Hey, he can now flip those for a pretty good price.
He's not because it's R&B and he likes shiny things, but
he is Mr. Tamatoa himself.
You have no idea.
He throws the Enchanteds on his back.
He is, but he was super high on that card, and it just turned out to not be the thing that he wanted it to be.
Right.
Obviously, there might be some differences now. I know Zane's list has kind of popularized that card.
Yeah, but I see. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Oswald. I don't know. I'll leave that to the better Blue Steel players to discuss or whatever, to continue testing with and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so R&B is of the same opinion of Oswald as I am of Mufasa. We both have to admit that card isn't as good as it appears.
Right.
And it hurts. We don't want to.
Right.
We don't want to say that. I would like to sit here and tell you that Mufasa is gonna win a DLC next season.
And you're gonna make it happen.
Brother, I would love that. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. I'm gonna be real with you.
Well, you can't win if you don't play.
Exactly. But I'm also not gonna win if I play a Mufasa deck in a DLC again, unless they go to best of 3.
Brother, we don't know that though.
I know that.
He said, "I know." Okay.
Oh,
Hubble's
ye of
up.
little faith.
So I will admit, if we are able to get some kind of relevant support for the color of amber that
Right.
is not
Mhm.
Cal.
specific to singers
Or racers.
or racers, then we might be golden,
Yeah.
right? The problem is we got like they printed all these amber cards and all these dual color ink cards in ruby and amber, and they're not good. They're just none of them are good enough to make a deck that was already kind of like had a very linear game plan even better, right?
Right.
The amber cards that have singer or like require a song to be played, cool. Don't play any of those. So I'm not getting any value out of this. The racers are all racer centric, and the problem with the dual color ink racers is all the other racers aren't good. Right?
Right.
The Calhoun that came out, the 6-drop Calhoun dual ink,
Mhm.
was so close to being good. Like if you just take the word eraser out of that effect, card's insane.
Right.
It was the same thing with the Emerald Amethyst Yzma that came out. She was so close to being exactly what I wanted.
What does
She's almost Emerald Chromacon on a body, but she's not.
what does that one do? The Yzma?
Yzma?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second because I remember reading it and then I.
So while you research it, I'll also have another complaint. So
Yeah.
I made a joke and said, you know what Mufasa really needs? I need a card that on a stick says, draw a card, brawl something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I've been so happy, right?
Uh-huh.
And obviously that card sounds broken.
Right.
Ruby Sapphire got that card.
Ruby Sapphire got that card. What card was it?
Maurice. So the 4-drop Maurice says, when you play it, sacrifice an item to draw a card.
Uh-huh.
If the item you sacrificed was Maurice's workshop, banish a character with power 2 or less.
Wait, what? Why am I just now hearing about this?
Because it's a 2-card
bad.
combo that's not good.
Okay. That's why
Meanwhile-
I don't know about it. Okay.
Meanwhile, Yzma is a 7-drop 3/8 shift 5 evasive. When another character is banished in a challenge, return that card to its player's hand, then that player discards a card at random. So,
If you take,
in Emerald Amethyst, where all of your removal is character based,
yeah.
when one of your characters is banished, you put them back in your hand, and then like why? Like why?
If
Yeah.
it just said opposing character, that card would be insane.
If it just said opposing character and didn't have, let's just add the clause opposing character. When an opposing character is banished, put that card in its player's hand, discard a card at random. That's fine. Even if you take out the clause discard a card at random, I could possibly see this being okay. But like, it's Emerald Amethyst, and she's a 3/8.
Yeah. She dies to Medusa.
She dies to brawl anything.
She dies to Sapphire. Coil.
Sorry. She dies to Sapphire Coil anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she costs 7.
Yeah. So
I'm
that's
never
like-
playing this card.
That's like another thing is like game development wise. It's like sometimes I look at some of these cards and I just laugh. I'm like, I'd really like to know the thought process behind like, hey, let's make this a legendary card, right? Like the 1/4 Radigan, when it's exerted and you play an action, you gain a lore.
You know, well, first of all, that card is a 4/4.
Oh, is it? No, is it?
It's a 4/4. It's a 4-ink 4/4. But I have a card that's even worse than that.
Yeah.
Blue. What? Blue could have been a common, and I wouldn't have
Oh.
questioned it.
Yeah. That's another really good example. Like, I don't know, man. It's like sometimes some of these legendaries are just silly. You know?
Yeah, like-
Meanwhile, Maui Shark is inkable and playable. Meanwhile, Tamatoa is inkable and playable.
Yeah. What do you think? So going back to that whole items thing and everything else, and I know you guys do a lot of testing because you're way more active than I am. What is your thoughts on the Gaunt 2 that's a stacks piece?
Not good enough.
You don't
He's
think
not
so?
good enough.
Its stat line is what keeps it behind.
Okay.
Like it'll be useful against exactly Sapphire Steel because they don't have because it has 4 willpower.
Right.
Ruby Sapphire doesn't care.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're like, oh wow, I just like pay 5 to brawl that thing. Who cares?
Yeah. Or I mean,
Or, like, I'll
3-drop Sisu.
Yeah, or I'll just like shift Sisu, who like does not matter.
Yeah. That's
But even in Sapphire Steel, like you can just get to a point where like, cool, I can't sing, I can just ignore you because that's a 2/4.
yeah, that quest for 1.
And if I have a Tommy 6 on board, he has the clause that says I get to play an item for free.
For free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That- Sapphire getting 3 cards that say play something for free. This set is abysmal. I hate it.
It is actually pretty silly.
When can I get a Scrooge McDuck that like says I can just exert 4 characters to play this card for free and then search a character out of the top 4 of my deck? When can I have that? I want that.
What do you want?
That sounds good. I'll take that.
I'll take that. It's all right.
Yeah.
Set 9.
Well-
You'll get that card set 9.
I've been saying it for like the majority of the year is, yeah, like set 9's my set. We'll finally be able to realize the full potential of Mufasa. But because every set that comes out, I'm like, that's not my colors getting juiced. That's not my color getting juiced.
Yeah, that's it was what? So the bell got revealed, and then we had like 2 character reveals still left or whatever.
I can tell you exactly what the character reveals were in order because I went through it with Ryan.
Yeah.
So
You just start at bell.
yes. So I was very not okay. I was like considering maybe it's taking a break from the game because just another set of not getting the necessary tools to make this deck kind of like take that step into tier 1. So I was a little upset. I was a little sad, but I was kind of hopeful. I was like, okay, look, there's 3 more characters. There's 1 Ruby character, 2 more Amber characters. We're golden. We got this. Bell got spoiled. Ryan lost his mind. We're so back. Oh my god, we got so many tools. I'm back in. I love it here. Mine was Calhoun. And not even the dual color Calhoun. It was the Amber Calhoun that in order to negative something, I have to discard a card, which is the opposite way I want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was like, he texted me, he's like, we're so back. And I was like, no, you're back. You got Bell, I got Calhoun. And then they like spoiled like some other Ruby common that just wasn't good. Like it was like the bug or something. But like I got Calhoun and I was like, sick. I thought they were saving juice for the last one. Because when they released Bell, I was like, this card could have been a legendary and I wouldn't have questioned it. And it's just a common, all right, they must be saving the last like 5 cards for just like some powerhouses, something crazy. Each color is going to get something nuts. And nope. It was just Sapphire. They got all the good cards.
Yeah, now we're talking, huh?
Like there's how many dual ink cards? So like there's 6 colors, 4
15.
cards.
I think there's 15.
No. So like there's 4 dual ink cards in every color pair.
Oh,
And
sure.
there's 6 colors. So whatever the math is on that. There's 1 dual ink card that's good, and that's exactly Giant Cobra.
Yep.
Because every other
Exactly, Giant Cobra. And
A
Giant
crow-
Cobra turns out to not be good
Do you not
enough
like Tramp?
right now.
What?
Do you not like the Dual Link Tramp?
that card is good. It's just not good enough, right? Like
Okay.
it's it's being pigeonholed by its color pairing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Like
pigeon.
Amber Emerald just isn't there. Does not have the resources available to make it as consistent as
Sure.
any of the Sapphire decks, right? Like that deck has explosiveness. Like I've seen Tramp do some egregious things. Like I watched Raze play like 34 ink worth of cards on 4 ink.
That's amazing.
He ended his turn with 12 characters on board,
That's
2 of which are Tramps and 2 of which were Turnabogs. And my exact response was like, dude, that was such a crazy turn. Be prepared.
Oh man.
Which like that's what I mean. Like we don't have the tools necessary, and like where the dual ink cards missed the mark for me is like they had a really, really, really unique opportunity to just absolutely justifiably juice the hell out of like some of these underrepresented color pairs, right? Like, but instead, like, like Amber Sapphire, right, is a fan favorite color pairing from set one. That color pairing hasn't been viable since set one.
True. I did
If they
in set
they-
one, and I did win a win-a-box with Amber Sapphire Battle Princesses, and it was amazing.
exactly like that deck is a fan favorite in combination.
Yeah.
If they would have just juiced it, if they would have just gave it like, and I'm gonna use Magic terminology, if they would have gave it like an Uro,
Oh, sure.
yeah, that combination would be insane.
So I think that we are going to. This is my thought, right? Because we got Restoring the Heart, which is the 1-drop Amber Sapphire card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is obviously when Moana gives the Heart of Tefiti back to Taka. In terms of,
Spoilers, guy.
yeah. So, yeah, if you've never watched the first Moana movie, great movie, by the way. But, I think that now that we got the card Restoring the Heart, we can expect some sort of Tefiti card in Amber Sapphire that might push it into a playable mode. So
Hopefully,
just like Amber Steel, or not Amber Steel, Ruby Steel got Mushu this set, which makes Ruby Steel so much more playable.
yeah. So they kind of hit the mark with Ruby Steel, right? Like they gave
Right.
Ruby Steel more of an identity based on like its perceived already identity of that
Right.
color pairing. They gave it like a lot of challenger stuff, which I think they hit the mark on Ruby Steel.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, some of the color pairings that have already seen the spotlight, Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, Ruby or Sapphire Steel, their dual color inks were arguably supposed to not be as powerful
Right.
because you can't juice those decks anymore.
Now.
But then when you look at color pairings like Amber Sapphire, Ruby Steel, Sapphire Emerald, like these are decks that need help.
Yes.
These are decks that need a little bit of a push to be able to compete with some of these more powerful archetypes.
Right.
So the way the dual color cards are made, right? You can't put them in anything. They're not splashable. This isn't Magic where you're like, oh yeah, I can splash the color white and play like these three cards. You can't do that. You
Right.
have to play those exact two colors in order to play these cards. So make those cards absurdly powerful.
I think that if the 6-drop Tamatoa was like specific to Blue Steel, and
Oh, it'd be best second format.
well, if we did that,
It's
and
already the best deck in format.
if we
Yeah,
did
it's
that,
close.
if we did that, and then the 3-drop Bell, we specifically made it blue-red. I think that would change it drastically.
Yeah, no one would play blue red.
You think
Yeah.
that they would just stay with blue? Do you think they would stay with Blue Steel even though they can't do the 1-drop Singer thingamabob?
Have you
Yes.
read Tamatoa? If that card was Sapphire Steel,
Uh-huh.
I would be playing Sapphire Steel.
Really?
And I hate Steel.
Whoa.
It would be the only Steel card in the deck outside of the Vitalosphere.
He's just playing mono blue splashing steel.
Yeah, like,
I like it.
but like, like that's what I'm saying. Like they had a very unique opportunity to make these underrepresented, like the Ruby Emerald stuff. They really leaned into like the damage based thing, which
Yeah.
arguably is, but arguably would have been more Emerald Steel, in my opinion.
Okay, I can see that.
But if they would have just made the Ruby Emerald cards just like absurdly good, right? That's now a color pairing that enters the format.
Right.
If you make all 4 of the Amber Sapphire cards just like kind of broken,
Yeah.
that's another deck that gets to enter the format. My complaint isn't that they're printing quote unquote underpowered cards. My complaint is that they're printing underpowered cards already knowing that these specific archetypes are so powerful, and they're not giving tools to the underrepresented decks to just keep up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, because like preparing for an event and feeling like the only deck that you can play is Ruby Amethyst or Ruby Sapphire or
Right.
Sapphire Steel, like depending on the set, on like the metagame, right? Like in set 2, it was like the best thing you're doing is Ruby Amethyst by a mile, not close. If you're not playing this deck, you're trolling yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Set 3 come around and like, oh wow, wildly enough, we have an open format where you can play like 8 decks. That's awesome. And then here comes Diablo. And the best thing you can do is play Bucky. Green Steel discard is the best thing you can do by a mile.
Yeah.
And have fun trying to beat it.
Right.
And then set 5 comes out, and that's all. Zen.
Set 5 was Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah, set 5 comes out. Ruby Sapphire is just arguably the best thing you can do.
Yep.
Set 6 comes around, and Amethyst X is the best deck in the format. Like you just play Amethyst with any other color, and you're pod racing.
Yeah.
And now you're just play Sapphire X, and now you're good.
I don't know.
Like,
I argue last set was reminiscent of set 3, where a lot of things were very viable.
A lot of things were very viable because of how the Amethyst decks won and lost. Right? Like,
yeah, it's true.
Anything that could kind of play to the board and win the board had game against Sapphire, had game against Amethyst.
Yeah, you have to win. Like last set, it very much felt like you have to win board presence and card advantage.
Yeah, and you like
I think that's why I personally think that like in LA, I think that's why R&B had a really good showing with Blurple.
Mm-hmm.
And so did that other Joseph.
Pandemonium.
Yeah.
Pandemonium.
Yeah, and he had a really good showing with Blurple because Blurple has a really fun time like establishing board presence and developing card advantage simultaneously.
Blurple is especially in set 6, right? Blurple was the best Amethyst deck against all the other Amethyst decks.
Yes, 100%.
Because you were doing the same thing they were doing, but it turned sooner because you had ramp.
Right.
So like when the format was boiled down to Genie Wars, the person who played the Genie first was likely the winner, and you're playing your Genie just on turn 3 when your opponent is forced to play it on turn 4.
Right.
You win that. Yeah. You win that 100%.
And it's like it's very common that you can Elsa Crab in the same turn too.
Exactly. Yeah. So like there's
it's so great. It was so good.
Yeah.
Loved it. But we've been going for about an hour and 45 minutes, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to head ourselves.
Right. So so really quick. So what's Maelstrom up to now?
Preparing for CCS.
Preparing for CCS. Are all of you guys going?
No, I think it's just me, R&B, and Logan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the 3 members going.
Sure.
Yeah, it's us 3, but this week is going to be hard focused on that. Humble and I, as always, are working a lot of content. We have what we're going to try to deem as a beginner's class to expert level content coming out. We're basically just going to start at TCG basics, everything from code words that newer TCG players may not know to just game mechanics, all the way up to expert things of, how ink decisions on turns 1 through 4 can snowball and affect how the entire game plays out. That's something we're excited about and going to start rolling out here soon. We don't have a time frame on it yet, but we are in the process of writing it.
Sure. I know you
I'll
guys.
be watching that.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot to learn.
Hey, make sure you guys include the word cantrip.
We will. We'll write that down. We'll put that in the notes.
Right. The other thing, let me see. Where can people find you guys at?
Obviously, the Maelstrom Discord.
Absolutely. We'll make sure. Whenever we download the VOD and put it on YouTube, we'll make sure to put your Discord link in the description.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's where you can find us directly. You can find all of us there. If you subscribe to that Discord, not saying you should, but a subscription gets you access to quite a lot. All of our early deck lists. We no longer do the free 30-minute coaching session for subscribers. We kind of took that away just because the volume of requests started to get a little overbearing.
All right, I'm unsubscribing. Yeah, I mean, that was the selling point for me.
Yeah. What we are doing, Xenulous and I, as well as some of the other players on Maelstrom, we've started to do a bi-monthly subscriber-only workshop,
sure,
where it kind of simulates the same variables of a one-on-one coaching session,
right,
but kind of in a group setting. You can play games against us. You can play games against community members, and we can bird you and say like, okay, this is where you're doing something incorrectly. This is what we would do differently. All of those sessions are going to be recorded and given to the subscribers who couldn't make it, so that they always have the opportunity to send us questions that we can answer, send us deck lists that we can kind of go over, tweak, and give notes on, as well as being able to watch over those games and kind of get like a miniature. I don't want to bring up lab rats again, but kind of like a miniature subscriber only lab rats where if they ask about a specific deck matchup, or like how does this past one, it was how does Mufasa work against current Ruby Sapphire. Right. So Xenulous played Ruby Sapphire, I played Mufasa, and we kind of played that game while I was talking through my lines. I was talking through my decision making, why I'm holding the cards I am, why I'm inking the cards I am, why I'm mulliganing as aggressively as I was, and kind of trying to help best we can to answer those questions for the subscribers.
Yeah, right on, dude.
Yeah. Other than that, you can find me on Instagram, X, and Bluesky, all Humble 3405. Bluesky might be a little bit different. It might be just Humble with 2 L's possibly. I don't remember. I'm bad at technology.
Right, that makes sense. Xenulous, so what about your socials?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, all Xenulous, all the same, always.
Always. Some things never change. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? I think we've
exactly. It's been my tag since I was 13. Why would I change it now?
Absolutely, guys. You guys have any shout outs you want to do?
Definitely shout out Sarah. Always shout out Sarah.
Heck yeah. And her socials, I believe, are at Lorcana Librarian, if I am not mistaken.
Yes, they are. She could be found on Instagram, Twitter, Bluesky. She could be found in our Discord. She could be found in the Love to Lore Discord. There's probably more Discord she could be found in that I am not familiar with or know off the top of my head. But yeah, she is an absolute joy to be around and to work with. So if you ever have the opportunity to do any kind of content with her, then definitely take up that opportunity.
For sure. Yeah, next time I have you guys on, I think I'll message her and see if she wants to hop into.
Yeah, for sure.
She's definitely one of my favorites.
Us too.
There's there was a situation that happened in Atlanta or LA. I don't know that I'm exactly supposed to talk about it.
Well then don't.
Yeah, well,
exactly. So I'll have to touch base with her. It's a good story. It's a good story. It's really funny. It's nothing bad, but I'll just have to clear it through her first.
Yeah, some things that aren't bad just don't need to be said. So yeah, don't get yourself in trouble for a good story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, but I do thank you guys a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, taking the time out of your guys' busy schedule, to be here and chat it up or whatever. You guys are, like I said, two of my favorite human beings that I like seeing at DLCs. So
love you too.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. There it is.
There we go.
But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
Sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you guys. Say it back.
Oh, it's just me.
Hey, there we are.
Hey, there we are.
There
Okay,
you go.
now I'm definitely stretched.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you look good though. I think you look good.
It's fine.
But that was
That was good. There was a lengthy conversation.
That was a very lengthy conversation with people that know a lot more than we do.
Very much so.
So I mean, that was
Very much
kind
so.
of like a mental overload, if you will.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
My first thought, honestly, and I'm glad that we're on the larger screens now so everybody can see. I love what you're doing with your hair.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, you got like a Dr. Seuss thing going on.
Is that
That's
better?
great. Oh, perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on there. Holy smokes! So what are your thoughts? That was a lot to chew.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot. We definitely covered a lot. It was definitely great getting to hang out with both of them. definitely great having Xenulous back,
Yeah.
and hopefully you could hear him this time.
Yeah, there wasn't that annoying beep or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was two of my favorite people. You know,
yeah,
the Mr. Mufasa himself, Humble. I thought it would be
Mhm.
good you would being a Mufasa player now,
yeah,
having the Mufasa Pro on the screen.
yeah. I definitely learned a lot just listening, to him, and that Sapphire list that he shared with us looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, he did. Mr. Mufasa, we'll call him Humble, or Humble, we'll call him Mr. Mufasa. Shared with us a Amber Sapphire Mufasa list, and you've been eyeballing it quite a bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
so maybe something.
It's got a lot of characters and a lot of that keyword ward.
You do
that I
like that
love.
keyword. The key
The
word.
keyword.
Yeah, the keyword.
Yeah.
Ward.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want me to blow this up?
No, you're good. You're good.
All right, so that was Maelstrom.
Mhm.
Very good team. A lot of fun players, a lot of good players. And we heard what they're up to. Let's talk about what we're up to
Yeah.
briefly.
What are we up to?
Well, we had that tournament.
We
yesterday.
had the tournament yesterday.
Yep, and you played.
You did really well.
I did okay.
You did pretty well.
I was on Emerald Sapphire.
Yeah.
Emerald Sapphire list with Bend in My Will and Muses.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. We ramped and we made people discard their hands, and I was having fun. They might not have been having as much fun, but it was a good time.
Yeah.
And then you were on.
I was on Amber Emerald
Mufasa.
Mufasa. Yeah.
I think you did okay.
I did better than I could have been.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wound up going 1-2-1.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was your one draw was against Blue Steel, though, the best deck in the format.
Sure.
So I mean, like,
but, I mean,
like,
there's like an asterisk on that one draw.
Sure. Why? Why an asterisk?
Because the person I was playing with had like just been handed that deck
Yeah, it's
maybe
fine.
20 minutes before the tournament started.
Hey, I don't know
If
about
I
you,
understand correctly.
but I don't know about you, but a dub's a dub. If you ask me.
That's not a dub, though.
A draw's a draw.
A draw's a draw.
But
I'll take it.
But we
Sure.
do have the case tournament coming up in Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
Are you planning on going to that one? You're on the fence.
I'm on the fence.
You are going. I see it in your eye. You're like,
I'm on the fence. Okay.
ladies and gentlemen,
I think we're gonna go.
Yeah, there it is.
I think
My
we're gonna
guy.
go.
My
I
guy.
definitely
I like it.
need to work on my deck.
Sure. There's a list that I have pulled up here.
Oh yeah.
That's Sapphire Amber Mufasa list.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Where'd you find that?
Oh, this guy that we had on the podcast, you know.
Oh yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean we still got a lot of playtesting to do and stuff like
For
that.
sure.
So I mean, like, I put it together. We'll try it out.
Honestly, even before that, after this weekend, my first priority, Lorcana wise, is I want to go home and refine my Emerald Steel Pirates deck,
Emerald
because
Steel
that
Pirates,
at least was fun.
But Emerald Steel Pirates, I do believe made top cut at 20 lore.
Oh really?
I seen it on stream earlier today, and I think
Okay.
today's the day 2 event. So
I'm gonna need to look into that.
I'll find a deck list and send it to you.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but there's that, and then yeah. So I think that oh, and then we have a SCG con coming up in Denver next month. I don't know if you're
that's
planning on
in
going
April?
to that, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I'm not sure. It's either April or March, but
Yeah,
that's about the only events that are coming up that I'm aware of.
yeah, that sounds right. I mean, we've got this Friday's big box release.
Yes.
So I mean, you might have some events going on, maybe at stores. You know, what I mean, like local tournaments or whatever.
Sure. I think local stores get a restock Friday.
I'm hoping so.
I think so.
Because I need to get my hands on some.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah.
It's been quite the experience with Maelstrom on the podcast. It was really great. Shout out to them. Great players. My favorite humans.
Yeah, no, it was amazing having both of them on.
Yeah.
Two incredibly knowledgeable players and people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them are very decent.
Yeah.
So, but I think that we're gonna wrap it up here.
Okay. Yeah, I said I don't think I have anything else. No.
Okay.
Not unless.
Shout out to you.
Don't do that.
You're amazing.
Don't do that.
I love you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I wouldn't say it earlier because I was a coward, but I'll say it now. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching to this week's episodes. And we hope to see you back next week. We're doing weekly pods now. We'll check you out next week.
We are going to be doing weekly, and we're going to be sticking to this time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is 1 p.m. Central Time.
Every Sunday.
So make sure you guys pop in, say hello, leave a comment.
And
if you are looking for cards, there's that TCG player QR code down in the bottom right. All of the socials are down bottom, except for our Bluesky. I need to add that. I'm slacking.
Pretty sure it's the same for you. I know it's the same for me on Bluesky.
Yep.
Exact same username.
Exact same.
Do not look for me on X because I won't. Well, I'll be there, but I won't be there.
You're in the shadows. You're like in the shadow realm.
Yeah, sure.
It's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay. But thank you guys so much, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Have a great week.